This is one of the best decisions I could have made. I was just in the city to move the last of my stuff out of the apartment I had moved into storage. It was hard for me to leave the hotel because I've been feeling so sick, but I was already far enough north that I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go to the lake in my old neighborhood, and I needed a car wash desperately, and there's a good car wash near my old apartment, so I was like, what the heck? I came up here, and this is what I've been talking about. This is my place, this is my home. The beach is full of people, all different types of people that are hanging out, enjoying this incredibly beautiful day. The water is nice and cold, and some people have what I think of as a misconception or believe in dated information that cold is bad if you are sick. I've done this a few times when I've been sick, and it always makes me feel significantly better. I feel great. I'm so glad I went in there. I love this lake. I love this place, and I am so excited that I'm moving back up here. I love Chicago. I love it so much. What's up, guys? Welcome back. Just a little end of training day update. I just got out of training for the day, and things are going well. Yesterday, I had a really positive experience with practicing backing after the last video I left you where I was saying how stressed I was because I had like a really frustrating sort of these back and forth experiences where I'm working with one instructor and then I feel confident with something, and then I work with someone else and I feel like my confidence is dashed, and I keep internalizing it, blaming it on myself and being like, I just suck. But a lot of the time I'm figuring out is that I do better with certain instructors than others by far. The instructors at my current spot that I've had positive experiences with have been on the smaller number. I can't use words, but and I'm having a hard time like wanting to film this week because I still don't feel good and it's hard to talk. My voice is kind of shredded. Things are going better. I am almost done with training. I officially passed today, meaning I did my road test and passed it. I never thought I would get so stressed about being passed through training. I thought it is a very difficult market for drivers. I'm a good driver for a novice. I'm careful. Do I drive perfectly all the time? No, I don't, but I am overall decent at what I'm doing. I think I'm attentive and I'm careful and whatever. What I realized is like, that's not the right way to look at it, because anytime you're a new driver and you're driving in trucks that you're not used to and in environments that you're not used to and with people that you're not used to, all of these different variables come into play, and you can't just be like, oh, I'm going to be okay. No, you might not. When I was training with the other job, and then I started to build confidence because I was in the truck a lot for 2 months straight. Basically, I was in the truck most of the time except for on weekends. Once I took just a week, I think it was only a week off, but it felt like longer than that because it was a full weekend and then a week and then another full weekend, which for any truck driver is a long break, right? I felt like I was sort of starting over. We didn't really drive much at all for the first week. We didn't drive at all, actually. We just did stuff in the yard, and I was also adapting to driving an automatic, which seems like it shouldn't be an adjustment, but it still felt like one. I don't know what to say. I feel like I'm coming across as though I'm making excuses for sucking at times. I hope I'm not. I've been pretty tough on myself, I feel like. Feeling like I should be better and stressing myself out. You have to sort of come back to this. They want to pass you. Unless you suck, they don't want to pass people who aren't good. But they want drivers. They need drivers, and they're investing in your training. It costs them a good amount of money to train you. So they don't want you to go through this period of time and then not hire you. They don't want, or the worst, they don't want to hire you and invest in you and then have you cause an accident or in some other way be an inadequate driver or a bad driver or dangerous or anything like that. So Anyway, I've been grateful that this week I've had the opportunity to work with a couple really good seasoned trainers that are calm and patient and don't freak out and like take things in stride. And today I had my road test and I passed. And then yesterday and today, both days, I had great experiences with backing. And I feel like, okay, if I'm in a space where I can make a perfect setup, I'm much more confident with backing. Like if I'm in a truck stop, will I still get nervous when people are seeing me backing and I'm in a lot full of other trucks that people are in their trucks? Yes, I'll get nervous. But can I do it? Yes, I can do it. Will I have to pull forward a bunch of times to get myself lined up? Probably. Will I be too close on the left? Almost certainly. So all these things are nerve-wracking when you're new, and I'm just trying my best to take it in stride. I know my voice probably still sounds kind of annoying. I'm sorry if it's hard to listen to a nasally voice, but I'm on the mend. I'm pleased with how things are going. I am glad to be almost done with training, and soon I will find out who my training person out on the road is going to be, and I hope that's somebody that I can work well with. What's up, guys? Just on a few minute break. I'm on my official last day of training at the facility for the company I'm working for, and I'm feeling good. The weather is gorgeous. That doesn't hurt. And I'm just feeling optimistic and excited because it's like I've made it through this part. Off we go. And I just found out who my trainer is going to be over the road. I shouldn't say over the road because the account that I'm going to be on is more of a regional account, and the way that it's set up for training, I will actually be coming back to a hotel each night, which is wonderful. Because I already have had experience living in a truck, I would rather just wait until I'm going to have my own truck and move into it rather than share a truck with someone else. I hate the feeling of invading someone else's space. I mean, this is a pretty universal reality, right? We all like privacy, and when you're sharing a truck with another person you don't know, it's always hard. So I feel like I kind of dodged a bullet. A lot of people starting off in trucking don't have the privilege of being able to go back to a hotel each night. So I'm lucky it worked out that way. Just saw like a little video snippet of who my trainer is going to be, and she seems really cool. So I'm stoked. Like, she seems like someone who's younger, who's maybe more of an active type of person. I just guessed from like watching the little clip. Someone who I can relate to. I have a feeling. She actually kind of reminded me of Shelby from Happiness by the Mile, and I was like, that's really cool. So we'll see how it goes, and I am just stoked to move into the next part of this whole adventure, and I'll share it with you. I'm back outside on a short break in the dust field. I should have a mask on out here. I'm sorry if it's annoying to listen to me with my congestion. It's annoying to hear it in myself, and I think it's going to take some time to clear even after I'm out of this training yard. We're going through all these like sort of videos, you know, like last of training videos and going over benefits and all these other things, which this will be the first time I've had health insurance in a really long time, and I don't have to pay a lot into it, and it's probably a better policy than I've had in a really long time from, you know, when I last had health insurance. So that actually is kind of a good feeling. Like, I'm not just going on the, you know, hope nothing bad happens plan. Just had us watch this whole anti-union video, and it's really funny because it repeatedly says in the video, this isn't anti-union, it's not anti-union, no, we're not against unions. And it's like, yeah, you fucking are. I just think that's fascinating. I'm not going to try to start a union. I'm not going to fight that battle, but I respect people who do, though. It's like, I thought it was so amazing when that one Amazon facility in New York managed to unionize with a pretty small group of people. That was incredible. Of all places, Amazon should be fucking union. Like, can you imagine how much it would change the economy if every Amazon employee, including people who just work, not just work, including people who work in the warehouse, if every one of those employees was paid $20 an hour to start? And what's crazy about that is Jeff Bezos could afford to do that easily, and it wouldn't put a dent in the fortune that he will never be able to spend in like multiple lifetimes. Greed is not something that I identify with or understand. It's like there's so much to go around, and like some people have to hoard it, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. But then I've also never been rich, and I know that really changes people. So who knows what would happen to me if I suddenly had that kind of money. But it's weird because sometimes I'll let myself fantasize about how cool it would be for all the Amazon employees to have enough money to like comfortably go to work, go home, pay all their bills, and have a little bit of disposable income. And how Amazon is something that we all depend on so much. And I use Amazon. I love using Amazon. I feel dirty when I do, but I do it anyway. I think a lot of us probably feel like that. And I think, how much would that stimulate the economy if all of those employees were making $20 an hour? To me, $20 is a fair amount of money to ask of people who are in a high demand work environment. This is the whole union thing is tricky because obviously a lot of unions are very corrupt, and it's like you could say unionizing is a good idea so employees can negotiate for better pay, better benefits, better working conditions, all of those things. I agree with all of that, but then I don't know. I don't want to get in a whole spiel about it. I just thought it was funny that they're like, we don't want you to unionize. We're not anti-union, but don't unionize. Don't ever sign a union card. And it's like, the problem is bigger than my one large company. It's the industry. The industry desperately needs more regulation. Truckers should be able to make the type of income that the 1970s era truckers could make before all the deregulation that happened in, what was that, 1980, I think, or 1982 or something like that, that effectively made it a race to the bottom for trucking wages and made it so that all of us have to work just as hard as truckers ever did, or harder, because it's a different world now, for dramatically less pay relative to that, if you were to do the math on that. It's kind of fucked up. But hey, I didn't come into this to get rich. I came into for a variety of reasons that I'm still trying to figure out. Oh, hey, you know what? I want to throw something else out there. I have a question. I have a request. If any of you truckers out there, or just humans, are plant-based or vegan, I would love to hear, especially though if you're a trucker, how you make that work. I very much would like to ultimately go toward more of a plant-based / vegan diet. I have a lot of mixed feelings about it. I'm determined to eat healthy, to live healthily on the road, and I've been struggling a lot with the morality of eating a omnivorous diet for a really long time. If you guys want to read a great exploration of that, I highly recommend the book The Omnivore's Dilemma by Michael Pollan. That book really was kind of a life-changing read for me, and I've recommended it to probably dozens of people since then, since reading it forever ago in the early aughts probably. All of his books are great. I could go in a whole spiel, and I won't in this video, but I know too much about the suffering of animals for food that makes me feel really fucked up about eating animals. And that's something that I need to resolve. So I'm gonna end this video here, but if you manage to eat vegan or primarily plant-based while you're driving a truck over the road especially, tell me how you do it. Tell me how it works for you. Hey guys, one last sort of summary video to cap off my end of training experience. I feel rude talking to people with sunglasses on, but I also have super sensitive eyes. But I opted to be outside to make this video because I'm sick of making videos in my hotel room. Feeling like I accomplished this little milestone. I shouldn't say little milestone, it's a significant milestone, but feeling like I got, past one more barrier in my trucking career. It was a nice little sort of graduation thing that they did for us, and it sort of made me reflect on the things that I've said about training, and I feel like I've maybe not been totally fair in the way that I've represented it. Some of my complaints were shared by other people, but I'm a pretty critical person. Let me just give you guys a little bit of a window into me and my personality if it isn't already apparent about me. I don't think I'm perfect. I think I'm really far from perfect. And then at the same time, I think I tend to hold people to a high standard. And maybe sometimes, even though I have empathy for the way people are and the ways in which they are also imperfect, sometimes I have super high expectations, and when they're not met, I get disappointed. And I want to always try to be fair. So I haven't even said where I work. And of course there's people who can figure it out, but I'm never going to probably come out and be like, this is who I work for, because like I said in previous videos, I want to feel free to just be my full self and sometimes maybe talk some shit about my job experiences and stuff. And I can't really do that in the way that I want to and feel comfortable if I'm always identifying where I work or whatever, or like accounts that I work on or anything like that. I just don't like that because I don't want to put people on blast. That's not really my style. But I also want to be honest about the experiences that I have, especially for anybody who's curious about trucking. I want you to hear the reality from me. I don't want to censor myself at all. I don't know. I think that's just my personality. I know there's some people who do YouTube and they'll say who they work for and they'll talk mad shit. And that's just not something I feel comfortable doing. I'll talk mad shit. I just won't say who I'm talking it about. I don't know what that means, what that says about me. But I guess in fairness to the instructors, you know, I think that they do the best that they can. They are human beings. They have their own kinds of quirks. They have their own challenges that they're dealing with. And I always have to remind myself of the pressures that are on them. And especially from having been in the position of training other people and then having people who are making demands of you as the trainer. When you have been in that sort of context and you understand what it feels like to have demands coming from both sides, it can help you empathize with like, okay, well, this person might have seen a little scattered, but it's because they're dealing with XYZ in their life and they have this responsibility they got to deal with and this manager and this thing in their personal life and all these things. And it's like, we all have a lot of different pressures on us. So it's important to try as best you can to recognize that people are doing their best. And are people always putting their best foot forward? And are they always doing their best? No. Do I always do my best and put my best foot forward? No. I am a work in progress. So is everybody else. So I guess this is another long story, long way of saying, if I have represented the training at my company that I haven't identified as subpar, I don't think that's what I intended to do. I think that I just find ways in which things can be better and I can be nitpicky about it. I would like to see them be more consistent. I would like to see like each trainer say the same exact stuff all the time. And is that going to happen? Probably not. There's ways they could tighten it up. But you know what? I still feel confident that I received excellent training and preparation. And not only that, but what I think is the best is I feel very supported. That almost makes me want to say who I work for. I'm not going to, but it's like there's a part of me, and it's too preliminary for me to really say this, but there's a little part of me that's like, man, maybe someday I'll want to say who I work for because I'm proud of the fact that they do a good job of training and they care as much as they do. But I'm not really in the thick of it yet. We'll have to wait and see how things really go when I'm in the job. One of the things I avoid reading on YouTube and other places is when people say negative things about companies. Oh, this company sucks. Oh, their drivers suck. Any of that. Generalizations, I don't entertain, and I don't think any of us should. I think it's really important to recognize that the individual who's saying whatever they're saying, they're coming from their own bias. I hope it's apparent that I know I'm coming from a bias, and I'll tell you what my biases are, you know, like I'm hypercritical. If you give me a blanket statement about a company, I think you're bitter. If there are enough negative statements about a company, which I can think of one off the top of my head among trucking companies, like one my dad worked for that was shit, I think they're probably shit because enough people have said so. But lots of people have great experiences at a company and lots of other people have really negative experiences at the same company. And one of the variables that you always have to remember is one of my favorite phrases that I didn't really fully understand until maybe 5 years ago, believe it or not. Wherever you go, there you are, which means you are the variable. You are in control of you. And you know how I figured this out? Because I had to have a come to Jesus, as they say, with myself. And it's weird because it happened at least 10 years ago when I started to like have inklings. You are the problem, Jana. Like, why are you blaming everybody else for this stuff? And it was that every job I had, I would be mad at the manager. I'd be like, this manager sucks. Then I'd have a different manager. This manager sucks too. Well, guess what? The managers kind of did suck, but what I was bringing to the table was a whole lot of negative energy. I was coloring the entire experience for myself and for others that I spoke with, and I was spreading a lot of negative commentary, and I regret that. That's not putting my best foot forward. That's not making the choice to be the change or to be a force for growth. Growth comes from owning your own actions, your own attitudes, your own energy, and recognizing that no matter what kind of situation you're in, if you bring the right kind of attitude, energy, motivation, and drive to it, I guess that was kind of redundant, but you know what I'm saying, you can improve that situation even a little bit. And if you can't improve the environment, you can make it better for the people around you by being that positive driven force, and by, you know, choosing to look on the bright side, I guess. So, you know, I feel like I'm one big PSA lately, and I don't feel entitled to be one, but whatever. I am doing my best, as we all do in this life. I hope that the next time I record, I don't sound like I have my nose plugged. It is very unpleasant. I'm sorry. I thank you for bearing with me. I am turning red because it's hot in my car, because I turned it off and it's hot outside, but it's like, I'm kind of hoping the humidity will be good for me while I sit here in my little sauna of a car. I really appreciate all of the positive vibes, everyone following along on my trucking journey, and I'm excited to keep sharing it with you. I'm excited to meet my trainer next week and get on the road and actually start applying the things that I've learned. I feel a mixture of emotions ranging from sadness, that odd sadness that it's like I'm not going to be in my training place anymore that I was so eager to get out of, to fear, to anxiety, to excitement. It's a lot of different things, but you know what's cool about it is it's new. And for a long time I was doing the same old because it was easy and predictable, and I got in a rut for years, and I am pushing myself outside of that, and I'm proud of myself. You know, it feels good to do something, like I keep saying, outside of my comfort zone, do something new. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and please remember to like and subscribe. It really does help me out. I'm trying to grow this channel, and yeah, thanks so much. I appreciate you, and I will catch you on the next one.